Nurse Brenda Bates, the haunting legend. In the small town of Oak Ridge, the shadow of Nurse Brenda Bates looms large, leaving locals with a sense of dread. According to the urban legend, Nurse Brenda Bates was a highly skilled yet mysterious nurse who worked at Oak Ridge Hospital in the 1970s. Patients and staff noticed her peculiar behavior, disappearing for hours on end, always wearing a white uniform that seemed perpetually stained. Rumors of Nurse Brenda's disturbing practices began to circulate. Patients claimed they would wake up to find her standing by their beds, staring at them with empty eyes and a haunting smile. Some swore they felt her icy touch, draining their strength as she whispered chilling rhymes into their ears. Others reported seeing her ghostly figure lurking in the dark corners of the hospital. One particularly chilling account came from a janitor named Henry. He claimed to have witnessed Nurse Brenda performing bizarre rituals in the hospital's basement. He said she would light candles, mutter incantations, and conduct strange experiments on rats and insects. Henry's tale grew more disturbing as he described how Brenda's appearance became increasingly disheveled, her once bright eyes turning vacant and sinister. The legend of Nurse Brenda Bates took a darker turn when patients began to die under mysterious circumstances. Their lifeless bodies would be found with faint bruises around their necks, as if they had been choked. The deaths were always ruled as accidents or natural causes, but the locals couldn't shake the feeling that Nurse Brenda was somehow involved. One night, a nurse named Sarah decided to investigate the legend herself. Armed with a flashlight and nerves of steel, she ventured into the abandoned Oak Ridge Hospital, rumored to be Nurse Brenda's last workplace. As Sarah explored the decaying corridors, she could feel the weight of the legend pressing down on her. Sarah's flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The air grew colder, and Sarah could hear faint whispers echoing through the halls. She followed the sound, leading her to the basement. There, in the dim light, she saw an old hospital bed surrounded by candles. The air was heavy with a musty, metallic scent. As Sarah approached the bed, a chilling breeze swept through the room. The candles flickered and went out, plunging the basement into darkness. Panic welled up inside her as she felt a presence in the room, an icy breath on the back of her neck. The whispers grew louder, forming a haunting rhyme that echoed in her ears. With trembling hands, Sarah fumbled for her flashlight and aimed it toward the source of the voice. There, standing in the shadows, was Nurse Brenda Bates. Her once white uniform was tattered and stained, and her eyes were empty voids. Sarah's heart raced as Brenda's ghostly fingers brushed against her cheek, sending a shock of cold through her body. The room seemed to close in around Sarah as the whispers grew more intense. She tried to flee, but an invisible force held her in place. Brenda's chilling voice filled the air, reciting a rhyme that sent shivers down Sarah's spine. The room seemed to warp and twist, and Sarah felt herself losing consciousness. When Sarah awoke, she was outside the hospital, the morning sun casting long shadows on the ground. She was alive, but the memory of Nurse Brenda's haunting presence lingered in her mind. She knew that the legend of Nurse Brenda Bates was more than just a story, it was a terrifying reality that would haunt her forever.